Okay, what's going on, boys? Welcome back to the weekly tactic update. In today's video, we're going over the weekly tactics. We've got a new one we wanted to put in. This would be the weekly tactics setup for every formation. And so this video is sponsored by the Patreon series, patreon.com/no guys. Want to get better at FIFA? Come to the Patreon series. In fact, right now, I think we should have a video on how to defend cutbacks. The link is down below in the description. But we're going to just go over what we did, what I've changed, and what I've done from last week. So 4-2-3-1. We kept this one the same from last week. Balance 47-39 long ball forward runs. The width, I personally play with 35. The reason why I do this is because I use hug to sidelines. If you don't use hug to sidelines, you're going to be really in trouble with this formation. So you can always put this to about 50-55, because what I do basically is I want this to be as wide as possible when I'm defending. But when I'm going down the middle and I'm attacking, I like to have the width very narrow. So that's the reason why I use a narrow width. And I can always adjust it myself. Long ball is very important because the cams don't have the get in behind instruction as usual. And then we have 6 players in the box. I always tone this down. So let's say if I'm winning, I can always tone this down and use this formation to close the game out with. Less and less this year I'm using this formation to start the game with. And I'm leaving instructions here. Listen guys, just pause this. I have a video for each one of these formations on my channel. But literally you can manipulate this video yourself. You can slow down the speed and you can speed it up. Just pause the video. I don't want to make this a 30-minute documentary. If you really want to see more about each individual formation, I do have a video on this. But that is the formation. As I said, I'm using this less and less. I'm more leaning towards other formations because realistically playing down the middle is not really the best way to go forward this year. And to be honest, 4-2-3-1 can be a bit boring. I'm mainly using it now to close the game out rather than starting the game with. Normally, I would go straight to a 3-5-2. This is the formation I'm liking a lot. As I said last week, I'm experimenting with narrow width. I don't know how I feel about the narrow width yet. Again, I still use hug to sidelines. So if you don't use hug to sidelines, you can change that. But I think this is pretty much the go-to. The only thing I would suggest maybe putting balance on build-up play. The reason why I say this is a lot of people are struggling because they're losing from counter-attacks when they have the ball in their possession and they're building up. So although I use long ball, I would say use it at your discretion. It's very risky with a 3-5-2 because don't forget when you're attacking, you only have a back three. So if you lose the ball, there could be a big chance you're getting counter-attacked. Depth 60, we're planning on releasing one that defends in the 4-4-2. That should be coming very, very soon. Maybe next week, not this week, because you have to release yesterday's video. But I'll explain that in a bit. But I'm probably going to release the defending in the 4-4-2 very soon. Still got to do some testing. I just have the idea in my head. But whether the transition works, that's another thing altogether. But yeah, long ball if you struggle with the counterattacks. I know many of you are struggling with the counterattacks in the 3-5-2. The width, I've got with 25. Again, I use hug to sidelines. And then these are the instructions. People are asking me, how can you make this more defensive? All you have to do literally is just put one of the strikers and come back in defense. And what it does, it then defends in a 5-3-1-1. For the left mid, right mid, if you're struggling with stamina, you can put conservative for both the left mid and right mid. And of course, one of the CDMs, you can have them on attacking. And the only change I made this week is sweeper keeper to the actual goalkeeper. That is it. Nothing else has been changed. Something I'm trying out. 4-3-2-1 remains pretty much unchanged as well. 71 depth is really the way to go. What I would find myself is, let's say I'm versing someone who I think is a bit weak inside the game. I would sometimes even consider going straight to a 4-2-4 or basically a 4-2-4 is a 4-4-2. But that's kind of the way that I'd probably go straight into it. Otherwise, normally I would stick to the 3-5-2. The 4-3-2-1 is very, very similar, I would say, in terms of attacking with the 3 players up front, except for this way you only have 3 midfielders, so you lose the wing play. But you have 71 depth. So this is the pressing formation. We don't defend this one in the 4-4-2 either. I think I'm actually liking the 4-3-2-1 as it is. If you want to, I explained in the video before, you can make that 4-3-2-1. 47 width, 71 depth, balanced and forward runs. Now you can use direct passing if you want to. But me personally, I just prefer forward runs more. I know everyone just likes direct passing a lot more, but I just think it's much more attacking. Direct pass can be mainly used if you really like to abuse the wing play. Maybe you can argue it works better in that situation, but personally I prefer forward runs in the rest of my gameplay. It depends really how you like to use it. If you like the wing play, maybe you can lean towards direct passing, but forward runs I think is fine. I don't think you need long ball. You can if you struggle with build up, but I think you should be fine. And the width is something that I'm probably going to change. I'm not too sure about the 30 width on this one because you can't really use hug the sideline. It doesn't really work the same way because you have 3 players on stay central. But the good thing about the narrow width in a 4-3-2-1 is if you like to predominantly go down the middle, you see with a 4-2-3-1, you have a cam and a striker. The way I play is like a 4-4-1-1. But sometimes the strikers isolate. You have one player inside a box. Someone's parking a bus. It's difficult to get past. With a 4-3-2-1, you have 3 strikers all on stay forward in the middle. It's a bit more easier because it gives you the outlet to pass the ball into the middle. So if I'm going purely down the middle, I'd want a bit of a lower width. I might tune it to about 40. Yeah, I'm not too sure. If you're not too sure, leave this on 50. I'm just doing a lot of experimentation for my gameplay. Obviously, it adjusts after patches and seeing personally what works for me. Again, you can always fine tune this to your own play. So that's the thing I want to say to you guys. Last year was all about copying my tactics, word for word, one for one. This year, I'm going to give you the variations and you change it for your play style. It's probably better that way, you know, to squeeze the extra 10% out of a formation. You really want to adjust it for your own playstyle. Then this is the new formation. We have replaced the 4-4-2. I think the 4-2-4 is more attacking. I mean, to be honest, you don't have to use the 4. Do you know what? You can copy these exact. You know what? I'd recommend just copying these exact instructions for the regular 4-4-2. The 4-2-4 just a bit more attacking. You have wingers. I just prefer just to be a bit more aggressive. And personally, I feel you press with it much better, personally speaking. But you can still use the 4-4-2. In fact, I would say if you start the game with, let's say you like to use 4-4-2 as a normal formation, put the 4-4-2 in this slot and instead of the 4-2-4, and you can still use it for the rest of the game. Or you can use the 4-4-2 with second variation. Again, this will depend on your playstyle, because some of you guys say to me, oh, do you know what, the 4-4-2 is a bit too aggressive. You can always use the 4-4-2 second or the 4-2-2. That has 2 CDMs. They both play identical, basically. Literally identical. They're both a 4-4-2. The difference is they have CDMs compared to the 4-4-2 and the 4-2-4. In contrast, I have centre mids where they sit high up in the pitch, so you can be much more aggressive. Long ball, direct passing, I do use for this. 65 width, important for being wide when you're attacking. And this is because I like to abuse the wing play as well. So if I really can't go down the middle, I'm not constricted to go down the middle always. I can go down the wing. And then we've got just a bit higher width to apply pressure and 71 depth. So you've got 2 formations with 71 depth here. So you can argue both these two are quite attacking. The 3-5-2, I would say, arguably, in my opinion, is quite balanced. And then the 4-2-3-1 is really one for closing the game out. And these are the structures. As I said, look, literally just pause this video and just copy and paste these. But I'll make a full video on this. But basically, we just have everyone on balanced and getting behind. Both the centre mids, we have them on balanced. Or you can put one of them on step while attacking if you struggle defensively. And left back and right back on stay back as well. And if I don't go with the keepers, there's nothing on the keepers. That means they are default. And guys, hope you enjoyed this video. A bit of a quick one, but no real major changes apart from the 4-2-4 and just some minor tinkering. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next week. Peace out.